Hello. Hello. Going live. Left it to the last minute to get ready today. So, hello to anybody that joins me later. There's nobody here right this second. But normally, what I do is I give myself a bit of a title or a theme so that anybody coming back later can say, oh, listen from the start, and then we can get going. Hopefully, some people will join me later and they'll have some questions and give some answers. The theme today was about when I like somebody that you don't. And this was in response to a comment that I received. Now, it's not about politics. I'm English. I know that there are different things going on. If you're from the States and there's different things to do with politics, this is not about politics. A lot of what I talk about on my channel is about being a creator. And I'm telling you what my journey and my experience is when I'm experimenting and I'm making videos. I'm just hoping that's okay. I'm experimenting and making videos, and I don't know you. Like I and even if I did know you, I wouldn't it would take a lifetime to know all of the different aspects about you. So when I create something, I have to go on my own instincts about what I want to create and who I want to mention. And the other day, I made a passing reference to Joe Rogan, and somebody was saying, I'm not that keen on Joe Rogan. And I was like, "Oh, that's interesting." It, what was interesting to me is, what do I do with that information as a creator? Going forward now, do I just never mention Joe Rogan, or that I've watched him, or that I've heard something or enjoyed something that he said? And the same's true of somebody else that I mentioned a while ago, and that was Jordan Peterson. And people, I knew that people had strong opinions about Jordan Peterson, but I didn't realize that there was such strong opinions about Joe Rogan. And I think that's because I'm not in the States, so I don't associate him with politics particularly. I follow a lot of comedians that go on his podcast, so I'm a complete outsider for that. But I think, by the way, Carol, you're not late. You're fine. You're the first one here. Hi. I was thinking about you the other day, but I'll come back to that. Yeah, it was, if you're creating something, if you're making something, I just this second before I turned on saw a video with David Bowie speaking, and I think it's Erin that's a big David Bowie fan. And he was saying about, as a creator, that if you are completely comfortable in the videos and, well, in whatever it is you're creating, that maybe you're not really expressing yourself. The true creator always feels a bit nervous and a bit like it's, in a way, dangerous what they're doing. And I'm leaning towards that. I'm so new at this creating, and that I'm using the videos and gathering data about the people that respond to the videos and the things that I'm creating. And I'm still figuring it out. I know early days, I gave myself time to process what happened when the Ren fans found me, because I knew the traditional advice was, do what the fans ask for. Just, ride that wave, do that, do that. And I really didn't feel that that was the right path for me. And so, if I suppose the reason I'm talking about this is, there are some people here that are watching me, not necessarily about the whole Ren stuff, but there's an inkling, and there's something in them that they want to create and make stuff too. And I just wanted to share that this is my experience, that sometimes I'm going to accidentally, we'll say accidentally, I don't know who you like and who you don't like. So I'm just going to be talking about my experience. And remember, my experience is very often from a different country to you, different life experiences. And when we talk about a particular person like Joe Rogan or Jordan Peterson, you may have the thing that you listen to, and I'm going to have the thing that I've listened to. It could be completely different. But even if I say, can we be friends if you really don't like the person that I'm mentioning in a video? I can understand that sometimes I've unfollowed people because of somebody that they've sung the praises of and I really dislike. But it's just part of I suppose the whole point of talking about it is this is part of the creative process. I I don't feel like it's necessarily something that I say, "Ooh, I can't ever talk about other people," or "I can't ever talk about this particular thing." I think it's useful for me to be aware that there's so many different people that could potentially watch this, and they may well have seen and heard different things to me and come at the thing from something different. Um, I just thought it was an interesting thing is that if you get a comment saying, "I don't like that person that you mentioned," do you immediately shut up and say nothing? Or do you keep creating? And I mean, a lot of the things that I talk about is fairly spontaneous. So there is a risk that I'm accidentally going to mention these people that other people don't like. But I promise you, no politics. Anyway, hello, hello to Carol and to Steph. Okay, so it's just the two. So Carol, you're saying love David Bowie. Yeah, and so this is the thing, isn't it? It's who are you listening to? I've listened to experts and I I've drawn cartoons about this. You may have seen this. Is silence safer? Do you go for just stay away from certain subjects? That's definitely one route. But I literally just before I hit record, I heard David Bowie talk, and I was like, in terms of integrity and creative integrity, I don't know a huge amount about him, but that's somebody that I've always thought had that creative integrity and is perceived by others as having that integrity. So, ah, when you do this, if you make your work public, it's such a fascinating experience, especially if you're somebody like me that worries about being misunderstood. And when I've been doing the cartoons that I do, a lot of it was about I need to be okay about being misunderstood and people mis I say misunderstanding what my intentions are. They may think, "Oh, she's definitely pushing politics or she's definitely trying to sell this or she's definitely," and I've got to get comfortable with that. And so this is a whole process for me. Anyway, people are saying hello. Hello, 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 hello. Bowie was a very intelligent man. Yeah. I think he kept himself quite private as well, though, didn't he? I've seen a few interviews, but I haven't. Maybe it's just by the fact that he died a little while ago now. But I think he did keep himself and his wife was fairly private. So Steph was saying, "Yes, ma'am, preach." Oh, someone's misunderstanding, another's shift in perspective. I just think it's useful to talk about because you're going to be having advice from experts that say, "Do this, follow this," and there may be a part of you that says, "I need to figure out my own path in terms of what I'm creating." So, anyway, Carol, was it you that mentioned humanists? Was it you the other week that mentioned about being a humanist? I hope I haven't outed you. I think you put it in the comments if it was you. So, because a new follower on Instagram and it had humanism in the title, and I was thinking, oh, is this anything to do with Carol, or maybe it's just random and strange? So, yeah, so I have about 400, 500 followers on Instagram. So to see, I do see who's new. Oh, that was you on IG. Ah, you see. Thank you. See, I do remember. I try to remember. It is hard though because some of you, I know, like Neil has a different name that it comes up, and I have to try and remember. Okay, I think chief, and then his name is Neil. But obviously, I've met and spoken to. I say met. I've done an interview with Neil, so hopefully, I try to remember. I was speaking to somebody the other day, and their name is Deborah, and I just had the name Carol stuck in my head, and I don't know whether part of it when I was speaking to her, I accidentally called her Carol, and I was thinking, oh no, dear me. Anyway, I shall have a look through. So Carol was saying, as Ren says, I go by many names also. Oh dear. It's quite warm in the studio today. So, but I don't want to put the fan on because it makes such a loud noise. Hi, it's Steph. Anyway, personally, if someone misunderstands what I'm trying to convey with a negative response, I give them grace. Yeah. I think one of the interesting things about when you create something online is that you don't always know when they've misunderstood something. It's not a conversation. You're not getting that immediate feedback where normally in a conversation, I would probably try very hard to make sure that I was understood. But I know there's been a lot of times in my life when I've tried to make myself understood and it's gone horribly wrong. I am going down the rabbit hole at the moment about ADHD particularly. And all of them talk about misunderstandings and not wanting to be misunderstood. So, but I do think about, I think I've spoken about this before about being a rite of passage, is that I think this is the way it has to go, that if you want to share your work like this, even though, ideally I'd like it to just be a nice, safe 100 people or something, to find that 100, you have to be much more open for, a few thousand people seeing you or something like that. Ah, dear me. But I think these are the experiences. Like, okay, I've got a few comments like that. I've got a little bit of feedback from the people that are watching that way. And it's an experiment. So giving them grace. And then Carol says, say it louder for the people in the back, Steph. And the more I study, I mean, I don't know whether you guys know, I think you do, that I've been self-studying and writing about speaking and being misunderstood for the last 20 years and teaching and helping people and whatever and trying to help myself along with it. And the more I study about language, the more it's amazing to me that we ever understand each other. And I think it's that we like to think of, certainly for me anyway, I was thinking, if I choose the right words, then I will be understood. And I tried really hard to be precise with my language, and I was still misunderstood. And I tried really hard to be, I would say, practiced maybe, in terms of my tone and my body language, and I was still misunderstood. And I think sometimes is that you can try too hard and that people can pick up on those small differences and read it as almost something false instead of just that trying energy kind of thing. Oh, dear me. I don't know whether there's only a couple of us, so I'm not sure if there's neurospicy in the room, but it's interesting to find that out. So Steph says, that's just it with creating though, Joanne. Your art is your truth. Well, yeah, and it's art, and it's, Steph, and it's an experiment coming out of me. These videos, I haven't prepared questions. You guys are giving me questions. I had a little bit of a thought earlier, but I think you can tell from the way I was speaking, I'm putting it into language as I go along. I mean, I don't script my videos or anything. So I suppose maybe would it be safer? Would it be safer if I had scripted different things and then say, okay, this is how I want to express myself, boing, like on point. But as I say, I don't think I'm particularly good at that rehearsed thing. I think that comes through a little bit forced, and I wonder whether I lose any sincerity when I do that. I just think in terms of speaking and communication, they're all different skills. To read and or have something scripted is one particular skill. To show up and just to speak is a different skill. And personally, I think I want to go through the being a bit more conversational. That's what I'm aiming for. So, Steph, truth is vulnerability. Yeah. Carol, and art is subjective. Steph, the misunderstanding isn't with your delivery, it's with the reception. There's so many ways it can be misunderstood. I think you guys know that I've spent a lot of time living overseas as well. And it's pretty typical that the person who's, the fact that I'm trying to speak somebody else's language, you're going to get the blame for any misunderstanding. So it's weird that it's kind of my Achilles heel, isn't it? I think it's something to do with I think it's probably to do with the fact that I have been misunderstood a lot. And I was somebody was shouting at me once, and I noticed straight away that I was saying, "I'm sorry," and I was trying to calm the situation down, and but I was saying, "I'm sorry. Let's just talk about this. I'm sorry," and I wasn't. I was sorry that this person was so upset and angry with me, but I didn't know what had happened here. They were just shouting at me. So I wasn't sorry that I wasn't giving an apology for something I'd done because I didn't even know what it was all about. I was just trying to calm the situation down. And I was talking to a counselor later, and she said, "Well, that's your mistake. You don't say I'm sorry at the beginning." But clearly, that's a pattern that I've picked up somewhere along the way of, or somebody's angry, let's calm things down. And she was saying to me that if somebody's shouting at me, they were at my doorstep. If somebody's shouting at me, that I can put my hand up and say, "Stop, speak to me civilly, and then we can talk." But she goes, "Don't start with the I'm sorry, But as I say, I was just trying to calm the whole situation down. And it was funny because I was like, am I allowed to do that? That just seems so rude. And I thought, can I just say, "Stop, speak to me civilly, or I'm shutting the door in your face"? And she was like, "You can say that." And then later I was thinking to myself, I needed to be told that it's okay for me to say stop and you've got to speak to me civilly. How incredible is that? That I needed to be told that. It never would have crossed my mind to say that to this angry person. I just wanted to calm the situation down, and I felt like I owed it to them, that they were so upset about something that I needed to listen to them. Anyway, I'm digressing a bit. So Steph says, open-minded people will understand, or at least try to learn to understand. Yeah. Carol says, I think we need to go back to treating people like human beings first. We are stronger united. Yeah. It's funny, I was just started doing this comedy writing course. And when we're writing about the comedy, as the teacher is explaining to me, one of the things you do is you try to personalize it. So you don't say, those people are da 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 as part of the comedy. You personalize it. You say, my granddad, or I feel, you make it very much about you or your family or something like that. And also, what I thought was really interesting is she said, and you make it a cartoon type of situation, and that they're not deep, like you don't give them that human quality. You try to make them a little bit more cartoon-like and simple. And I thought that's really interesting. I mean, I can't do the joke writing bit at all. It's completely above me. But what was interesting is when I do the cartoons, what I feel is that I'm humanizing the little stick person character in the cartoons. Because for me, when I look at them, there's a lot of mixed feelings. There's what's going on in her face and her body and the actions, and then the words are very often something different, and there's something else going on. And for me, there's very often there's like a complex meaning going on. And I thought That's interesting that I'm doing cartoons and the fun is to humanize, but then in comedy they try to simplify and make it a cartoon. I just thought that was interesting. Anyway, I should go back to the comments. Susan, hello. I got here a bit late. I'm still trying to catch up, but for what it's worth, authentic, honest communication doesn't need a script as much as people willing to actually listen. And then everybody saying hi to you. Hello, not hi. Yeah. I think we can all, I mean, I can communicate in a way that other people misunderstand me, and I can misunderstand other people too. I think we can all do that. Hi, Mamie. I'm doing a little bit of a funny one because I've been visiting Mamie's YouTube channel and do my best to give you some encouragement there. It's been really fun. It's been fun for me to get to know you a little bit and to realize some of the things we've got in common. So anyway, Mamie says, "Hi Carol. Look at Terry Pratchett treating people like things is the root of evil." I know the name Terry Pratchett. Does he the travel? Am I getting mixed up with books? As I say, there's somebody who does a lot of travel type of books. I can't remember. Name is saying hello. Carol, have you ever watched the comedian Gabriel Iglesias, aka Fluffy? Yes. He's good at telling stories and making his friends characters like you were describing. Yes. Have you seen there's got a very famous thing that he does called the racist gift basket? I mean, I find it really funny. I don't know whether I don't know whether it's one of those things that you can be sensitive about. Um, because there's clearly a huge affection. He's making this gift basket with all these stereotypical what black people like. And the funny thing was, my daughter is black. My daughter is from Ethiopia, so she doesn't have like African American culture. And obviously, some of the references that my daughter was 10 at the time that she heard this little comedy bit. But obviously, she doesn't know some of the references. But I was showing her, she thought the thing was really funny, but she also wanted to listen again, as in, well, what is it they're saying? What is it? What is the stereotype about black people? Because as I say, that's a completely foreign world to her. That's because she is actually African. She's Ethiopian and come here, and also she lives with an English family. So she just doesn't know what those references are. And one of the things they wanted to put in this racist gift basket was something called Kool-Aid. Well, in the UK, we don't really have Kool-Aid. And so she was saying to me, I really want to try Kool-Aid. I think I might like Kool-Aid. And I was like, no, that was not the point. I can't go into a shop and say my daughter wants Kool-Aid. So, oh, dear me. So she was just, as I say, she thought it was funny. She didn't see any kind of offense, but I was showing her almost like an education thing of that if somebody says these things in a way, it's a stereotype, and they may not be being kind about this stereotype. Oh, dear me. Some of the things I can't repeat some of the things. Some of the things I've told her, I've said these are insults. And she said, "Oh, I think that'd be a really fun nickname." No, no, I couldn't possibly call you this. But as I say, it's not her. As I said, she's in England. She doesn't know. Oh, dear me. So anyway, Black Wolf, hello. Everybody's saying hi, hi, hi. And Carol is saying, yes, it's a classic. Yeah, I have listened to it a few times. Have you seen the one, Carol, where he does this racist gift basket? There's this bit, as they call it, this story that he does is, I say, incredibly popular. You know, it went viral and different things. But there's one of the recordings where he's on stage and he tells the story and he says, this has never happened before, but the person I gave this gift basket to is here tonight, and they're going to tell you their part of the story as well. So as I say, he gave this racist gift basket to a friend, and that comedian comes on the stage and says how he felt receiving this gift basket. Really funny. But again, amazing storytellers. That's why I'm watching them. And people are saying, I love Terry Pratchett. Terry Pratchett is the Discworld series author, right? And then they're saying yes. Discworld series author, right? Okay. I don't know Discworld. I know the name Terry Pratchett, but I'm not sure. Okay. Okay. So Steph is saying, Joanna, it's trash. Is this to do with Kool-Aid? Did you write that when I was talking about Kool-Aid? It was, I don't know whether you did. I don't know whether that's writing about Kool-Aid. I think I was speaking about that. What we did in the end, we bought a little packet, like a sachet of Kool-Aid, and you had to put it into a cup. But then it said how much sugar you were supposed to add. And I said to Solly, I can't put that much sugar into a drink for you. So she just tried the Kool-Aid powder thing in some water, and it was like, I don't know, bright red, and all her lips were bright red and her tongue was bright. And she was like, this is disgusting. And I said, well, I'm sure it's very nice if you add 20 pounds of sugar in it. So, right. And then Carol's just saying there's a version of Racy's gift basket where at the end of the telling, the recipient comes out and tells his side, everyone involved are still friends. Yes. Yes. Black Wolflow. And people saying hi. Oh, dear me. Okay, and Black Wolf says, and this is about his name. Thanks, it's from a film I've been obsessed with since I was a teen. Ladyhawke? Okay. I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were talking about wolf and how they feel that the wolf and the wolf spirit represents them. Yeah, so Steph was saying yes, it was about the Kool-Aid. But it was just so funny that my daughter didn't see it. She didn't see it as in, I need to be upset about that because I'm black too. She was like, I've never even tried it. I don't know. And now she was just curious about trying it. So, and then Mamie says everything American has too much sugar. I think it would have been hidden. I think if they'd have sold a bottle of Kool-Aid, I probably would have just let her try the one. She doesn't like fizzy drinks, so it's not something that she would do, going forward. But say it was bright red, it really stained all her teeth and everything. She only had a sip of it. It was quite funny. So you're saying Ladyhawke is a classic. I've never heard of it. That doesn't mean much. I'm completely out of the loop. Yeah. So, yeah. I've seen a few interviews with that comedian that you mentioned, Gabriel Iglesias. I've seen a few interviews with him lately. It's been quite interesting, him talking about his journey and different things. Carol is saying, in my punk rock days, I used to dye my hair with cooler. Oh, I shan't. If I tell my daughter that, she'll be like, wow, I want to dye my hair. But obviously her hair is black. So, yeah, I don't think she's able to dye her hair. Yeah, funny. When I was younger, I remember they used to do like the much darker lip liner and then the paler lipstick. And we used to use like purple felt tips around and then do the lipstick, the paler pink lipstick. But to get like the really dark line, you used to use a felt tip pen. Actually, I think in America you call markers, I've been told. We call them felt tips. Okay, Steph was saying the wolf reference you mentioned was during our interview. I made the painting of I know. Shh. Shh. We're not supposed to say. We haven't released that yet. Oh dear, you're letting the cat out the bag. Carol says, Black Wolf, it was all DIY back then. That's funny. I was always too scared to dye my hair myself. Susan says, I've used Kool-Aid as watercolor paint substitution in times of need. So I'm guessing that it's clearly I mean, obviously, I don't know the references to Kool-Aid. I knew of it as in this stereotype black people like Kool-Aid. I knew that it was a joke, but I didn't know that it was known for being that strong color. I kind of knew that it was had a reputation as being rubbish, but I didn't know it was the reputation of the color too. It was funny. Mamie says, wow, Kool-Aid has so many uses that are better than drinking it. And Steph is saying sorry. Oops, that's fine, Steph. I mean, it says 5 people. I'm not sure if there are still 5 people here, but it's only 5 people have come here. I don't mind people knowing about different interviews. I'm just not making a big announcement each time. It's fun. Oh dear me. So if people are curious, I am doing more interviews. I'm interviewing some fans that are creating. I'm also interviewing some of the reactors still. And I can't guarantee interviews that will go live every week because obviously I'm dependent on other people saying yes, that they're happy to be interviewed. But I'm really enjoying that side of things. I just think I feel very lucky in the people I'm speaking, and also I get to ask really nosy questions, and there's things that I don't understand, so I can ask them. It's a gift. It's lovely. Mamie. Ooh. And I said, it gives us something to look forward to. Yeah, there is that side of things. Maybe. I don't know what's going forward. Going forward. Mamie, you know what this is like. We're both just figuring this out, aren't we? So Black Wolf says, the only reference I know of Kool-Aid is they've been drinking the Kool-Aid thing, as in losing their minds. Yeah. So I suppose if you're saying they've been drinking the Kool-Aid, I mean, there is that reference of is completely rubbish, but now I know that there's so much sugar in it, and now you're saying about the colouring. Yeah, I suppose that makes a bit more sense. I'm sorry, I don't know your name. Zhang Henry? I don't know. I don't know how to refer to you. Is it Zhang or is it Henry? Or anyway, you're saying what app are you using for live stream? Looks really good. Thank you. It's just the laptop camera and it's YouTube. I'm not using any app. I do have StreamYard and I've tried a few others. And I know with those that I can live stream Facebook as well as YouTube. But for simplicity, just turning up on a Sunday night, I just kept it for YouTube. I think for me also what I wanted to say about the tech side of things, I feel like there's a good 100 things that I need to get better at or I want to get better at when it comes to creating videos and to making these things. And tech is one of them and camera is another and then the microphone and then the lighting and then the studio, But right now I think some of the tech and the app stuff can be a distraction, and that what I really need to focus on is, can I keep turning up? Can I keep hitting record? Can I keep showing up? Can I get comfortable speaking? Am I finding my voice? Am I finding the subjects that I want to talk about? So just for the moment, it's tempting. My husband was saying to me, do you want cameras and stuff like that? And I said, I don't think I've got the capacity to be learning all about cameras. I think there's so much that I still need to learn as somebody who's speaking. I really want to get better at storytelling. I worry about forgetting the details of the story. So I tend to blurt out bits of the story at the beginning rather than creating a narrative as such later. But anyway, so okay, so that's, I was going to say, that is right now on the live stream. That's what I'm doing. On the recording, if you are curious, when I do the interviews, I'm using an app called Descript, Descript, and that's got something called Stream. Am I getting my different apps? Is it StreamYard? Squadcast. That's Squadcast. Squadcast is part of Descript. So when you pay for Descript, Squadcast comes along. And it's supposed to do a lot of the things for you. And I haven't figured out how to make a lot of those things happen. But I quite like the setup because I send the person I'm interviewing a link. They click the link and they come through to what we call the green room. So it's before I hit record and we can stop and say hello to each other. So I am using an app for the interviews. So, Carol, anyway, I enjoy your interviews. Doing them on your timetable is our happy surprise. Yeah, well, the one time I was like, I am going to do these at Thursday at 7 o'clock, and I'm going to stick to that every single week. And then what was happening at Thursday, 7 o'clock? Ren released a song after not releasing a song for ages. And I thought, oh no. So afterwards, I thought, it's completely unpredictable. I know if Ren is going to release something at that time, at the same time, the interview is going to tank, you know. And this was an interview that I did with Charlie, and the interview was amazing, and it didn't do anywhere near as well as the interview that I did with Nicoletta, and it was completely my fault. What I should have done is, as soon as I knew that Ren was releasing a song at that precise minute, I should have just waited a day, but I didn't. I tried to bring it forward an hour, and I messed it up. So what's happened in afterwards with the interviews, I've thought, okay, try not to be so precious about releasing at the same time every week. Maybe just experiment and release, trying to keep a bit of a week separation, because I don't have a huge amount of content to just be publishing multiple videos every day. I wanted to do some shorts, but I'm struggling with the short side of things. I need to take time and learn a little bit about that. So, Black Wolf was saying, I love your interviews. You're really good at it. Thank you. One of the interviews I did this week, which has not been released yet, the person I was interviewing was saying to me, I was aware of your channel before and I really like your video. And I was like, going red. I was like, this is supposed to be me interviewing you and you're saying all these nice things about me. It was very kind of them, but it was a surprise. I wasn't quite sure how to handle it, which you will see when you watch the interview. But again, another one of those rites of passage experiences is that when you're doing an interview and something happens, you know, something goes wrong or something really lovely happens, and you're thinking, okay, I'm not sure how I'm supposed to handle this, but you just try and be as natural as you can. Susan, hello. Blue Kool-Aid. I'm not giving my daughter blue Kool-Aid. Blue Kool-Aid reminds me of the horrific water in the portable privy at the Renaissance Fair. Oh, dear me. Oh, so you prefer to be called... So, what? I wasn't sure whether to say Zhang or Henry, and you're saying Henry. Thank you. Yeah. You're saying, well... Carol. Fact without research or critical thinking. Okay, what was that about? What was that about? That's the trouble. If once I'm talking and if I've missed it, and then the timing. Fact without research or critical thinking. What was I talking about? Anyway, Black Wolf, Carol Wagner. Interesting. So then Susan says, how do you do the screen inside the screen? Is that in Descript? Yes. So that's for, I've now figured out how to do the screen inside the screen, I'm using Descript, and there is an option and a way to do it in Squadcast, which is the recording part of it. But I've realized that it's easier to make adjustments to the screen inside a screen using Descript. So the only thing is I do pay for Descript, and I'm guessing there are lots of ways that you can do it for free, but I don't know those. And I was really trying to just have one app and learn one thing. It takes so much mental energy to be learning these things, and I thought I just can't be remembering multiple passwords. I just need to be doing one thing and figure it out. So okay, Mamie is replying, I think, to Susan, saying OBS is open source free and you can do it easily. Yeah, because Susan, Mamie's done some. I haven't seen your reaction videos. I've just been watching your sort of introduction videos, Mamie. I don't know whether that's something that you want to. I'm guessing there's videos about this. What I found is I feel sometimes I'm a bit of a broken record in telling you certain things. I have the diagnosis chronic fatigue, so I do get tired, especially if I'm concentrating on learning something that I find hard, like learning the technical stuff. And what I found is I'm much better if somebody's sitting next to me and being calm and explaining something, rather than trying to find it on Google. And then when you watch the video and it says open up the page and it looks like this, and then you open your app and it doesn't look like that, and you're like, oh crikey, now we're on different versions of the same app and now I've got to figure out that. So I find all of that type of learning quite exhausting, but I'm just figuring out ways to be able to learn and to keep expanding without using that precious bit of energy. As I said, there's a certain time in the day where I'm at my sharpest. But I don't always want to use that for learning something about tech. But anyway, sorry, it was Susan that was asking about the screen inside the screen, wasn't it? Yes, Susan was asking about that. Also, if you're curious, I have some earlier videos where I completely messed up on the reaction videos and the tech. And maybe that would make you feel better, in that that's part of the journey. You know, I don't have this is what happens. You have a smaller channel and you figure things out, and sometimes it's a bit of a mess, and you go, okay, like, hands up, I made a mess, and I'm still going to share it. I'm just sharing. You know, I think for me, it's all about the honesty. I wanted this to be, you are seeing me figure this out and go along. And of course, I would love to show up being polished and, you know, having the studio and having all the tech and stuff. But right now, this is where I'm at. And as I say, it's too tiring to pretend that I know better. One of the first live videos that I did was on Facebook, and I didn't realize that I was using my phone. I was holding the phone the wrong way, and I didn't realize until the end of the live that I wasn't facing this way. I was like this for the whole of the live, and I thought, nobody told me in the comments that I was like hanging on for dear life on the side. But thankfully, people were very kind and just accepted that I was figuring out the tech side of things. Anyway, so EB, hi EB. So OBS seems to be the go-to app. Yeah. Mamie is saying, I have a tech advantage. I married my own IT support. That's the way you do it. So Black Wolf, yep, it's a learning curve. I streamed once for 30 minutes without even knowing I was doing it. I even got raided. What do you mean raided? What's raided? Hi, EB. What do you mean raided? I even got raided. I'm just wondering if it's something that I've experienced. I've done lives a few times where just like a group of people descend on you and then have some sort of weird, obscure conversation in the comments. And it's quite distracting. And really, what you want to do is kick them out. But sorry, excuse me. I wonder whether that's called raided. Does that mean raided? The people, there was some young guys. I went and followed them afterwards, not followed them, just clicked and figured out who they were because this was on Facebook. And they were like young 20-something guys. And in my comments, they were saying, is this the sofa for sale? Yeah, but the sofa, tell me more about the sofa. Is it a blue sofa? Just nonsense talk. And you thought, really? Really? Is this something fun for you to do? Is that what raiding is? Oh, okay. So hang on. Black Wolf says it's when another streamer finishes their stream and brings their viewers over to you. Okay. I don't know anything about this. It's when another streamer finishes their stream and brings their viewers over to you. How do they bring their viewers over to you? By saying something? Do they say, oh, and now I'm going over to them? I know there's a channel that I was watching for a little while. I haven't done for a bit. It was called Cults to Consciousness. And very often she would do a collaboration. So she would say the first half of the interview was on her channel. Then she would say, go watch the second half of the interview on the other channel. I wonder whether is it something as deliberate as that? Do you have to have like a collaboration, or is it something accidental? I do think sometimes people find themselves on my live and it's just the algorithm that has said, hey, this girl's going live. To function on Twitch. Now, Charlie and Nicoletta were on Twitch and don't know much about it, but I clicked on it and it was saying, oh, you've got to sign up and everything. And as I say, I don't have the brain power to be signing up and paying attention to everything. So do you use Twitch, Black Wolf? Is that something you do? I thought it was interesting that Charlie and Nicoletta did. But again, I think I need to be finding out what it is and what the benefits are in my sharp moment, not waiting till 10 o'clock on the night. I think they set it up so that they were doing live on YouTube and Twitch. But do Twitch have a whole audience separately? Is that like another platform again? There must be a reason why they were choosing Twitch. Anyway, EB was saying, nice to know the algorithm knows you're alive. Stream. Yeah. Black Wolf. Yes, I find it much easier for streaming than YouTube. YouTube is best for vid uploads. Okay. I mean, what about audience size, though? What? I'm guessing on Twitch you have to build an audience the same. Okay, Steffi says, I just ream, and then she says, oh my God, typos. But I haven't, I don't know where. I don't know what she's saying is a typo. Evie says, sorry, everyone, I'm having a goofy day. You're having a goofy day. I had a goofy, I can't tell you all about it, but in the interview, I think I was getting tired and I just said, I'm so sorry. I think this interview is going to be a little bit strange because I'm just in a funny mood. So, but obviously that's a part of my personality, isn't it? Sometimes you're in a funny mood and sometimes you're a bit more serious. Oh, dear me. Amy, I know Twitch for gamer streams. Okay. Matthew, hello. Steph says, I was trying to say, I just realized it's got to be late over there. It's 4:49 p.m. here in Kansas City, Missouri, you say. What time is it there? It is 10:49 here. So my daughter has gone to bed and I thought, okay, and for me, it was, I've been doing Sunday at 10 most weeks now. I've missed one, I think. But it's just, it gives me that cushion of making sure that I've done bedtime routine and stuff. And then I give myself half hour, an hour before coming on. But yeah, for me, it's late. For me, I would normally be in bed by now. So hence a little bit silly in the way I'm doing it. Carol saying, I think Twitch was originally set up as a gaming platform. I view streamers on Twitch, but I don't create content. Okay. I saw there's a charity here in the UK called Mind, MIND, and they're doing a thing at the moment encouraging people to stream for 15 hours. And you can do it in smaller blocks, but it's kind of raising money for the charity. And I was thinking, I don't know. 15 hours might take me a while. But it's interesting to think that they're embracing these different ways to raise money. So where am I at? Evie. As Steve Martin says, I just put baloney in my shoes and I just feel funny. Don't know many Steve Martin quotes. So Susan says, Twitch is really nice if you want interaction in real time. They have different categories and I did streams on the creative channel. I'm curious though, you're saying lots of nice things about Twitch. Quite a few of you are saying nice things about Twitch. But is it something that is hard to find people to watch you again? I mean, obviously, I'm just starting on YouTube. So I'm wondering whether doing Twitch, I don't know, are there fewer people on the platform? I don't know whether it's just be something that you really need to put a lot of effort in to find those people again. Black Wolf says, you can build an audience there as they have categories for their front page that people can search. Categories like just chatting. You can build your viewership with social media like everything. Okay. I think I've seen something about just chatting. I've seen something. There was something on a TikTok and there was a chap who was just streaming and nobody was talking to him. And then somebody stopped to chat to him because he was completely on his own streaming. Oh, okay. So, okay. So, Black Wolf. Yes, it used to be heavily gaming orientated, but there is a ton of other categories now. Okay. I think I need to be sharper, don't I? I think I need to do it earlier in the day, sign up, get an account, and just have a nose and a play. Black Wolf. I also find Twitch way easier for tips and subs. Do you have to have like a minimum number of subscribers and stuff as well? I wonder whether Twitch is a culture of tips and subs. Is that what you think it is? Black Wolf says, no, there are people on there with thousands of viewers. Okay. Yeah. I went a few years ago. I was on a different app and I think I got up to about 10,000 people subscribing, and then the app changed the rules and kicked me off. It's like, oh my goodness. So, and I know that any app you can fall foul of the app. Viewers pay for subscriptions. Okay, as I say, you guys are testing my brain power. I'm gonna have to actually concentrate on this, aren't I? In the meantime, I'm starting to figure out YouTube, and I've got these interviews to edit. So I think I've missed one. Susan says there are many, many people on Twitch, but it does take more tech and reliable internet. Okay. And Carol says viewers pay for subscriptions. Steph says, okay, everyone, I've got a jet. I'll talk to you all later. Have a good night. Bye, Steph. People saying good night to you. Black Wolf, you have to make affiliate first. It takes you through it step by step. Then you can get subscribers and bits. Oh, they call them bits. You got to learn the lingo, haven't I? Tips. Yeah. I'm curious, do you Black Wolf, is it a completely different type of person that's on? Is it somebody, I'm just wondering about the culture, because you're saying about it's easier for the tips and different things. Do you think people are on there that want to stop and have that more relaxed conversation, and a complete, the culture is I'm going to give a tip and I'm going to interact and chat? Do you think they're more in that kind of headspace when they're on Twitch, where YouTube maybe it's a little bit more bounce from one video to another? Be interesting. I'm going to have a little drink. A cordial, not Kool-Aid. Dear me. I'm warm in here. How are we doing? Oh my goodness! Nearly an hour. Did my Brummy accent come out then? Nearly an hour. Carol is saying, I think it depends on the individual content creator. Yeah, I can have an explore. I think this week have I got another interview booked? I can't remember. I've got a couple of things booked, I think, and I've got last week's. I think I've got 4 or 5 interviews to make sure I've saved, edited, whatever. And not that I do loads of editing, but I do have to transfer the files and whatever. And again, all these things, if it involves something where I could mess it up quite seriously, I have to use it in my sharp time in the morning. So although I would really love to just stay up late and do things, I don't trust myself. I probably shouldn't tell you, but this one time my husband asked if I could clip his hair, and there's like a safeguard thing on the clippers, but it was late on the night, and then I just shaved some of his hair off. And he was not happy, but I was heartbroken. I was so upset because, I don't know I don't know whether you know what it's like to feel ill and to feel not so sharp, whatever. And I felt like, I'm losing my mind, and I made a mistake. And I know that everybody can make a mistake, but I was really sensitive about it. And I said, okay, that's it. I am not doing anything that could be deemed at all important. I'm not doing any money transactions online. I'm not learning. I'm not messing around with files that I'd be upset if I lost them. I'm definitely not trimming my husband's hair. I'm not doing anything like that because I'm just not sharp enough when I start getting tired later. Ah, dear. Okay, Black Wolf says, it's more interpersonal, but people often stream on Twitch and then upload their vids to YouTube. Some even dual stream on both. As I say, I know that Charlie helped Nicoletta to do the dual stream. And I did see about a tip, but I think the tip thing was coming. I don't know if it was coming from the YouTube, because she's got a bigger channel now. It's more interpersonal. See, the fact that you're saying about the more interpersonal, that might work for me. I'm curious, because sometimes, say, a lot of the advice that I see about YouTube, and they're saying about scripting and how to and punchy and I'm curious. There's a few rabbit holes that I've been down, and I thought, oh, can I make a video relating to that content? Can I summarize it? But again, I'm struggling to remember, and I'm struggling to read. Just at this moment, it's not working out for me to do those kind of videos. Susan says, you've got to go. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining me. Talk to you later. Take care. I'm planning on going soon as well. I'm just there's more questions, so I'm just going to read these. Black Wolf. Essentially, all of the back end is composed on OBS overlays, etc., and then OBS outputs it all to Twitch. Carol says, personally, I wouldn't cut someone's hair if I wasn't feeling well, but I'd be upfront about it. Yeah. It's an odd thing, Carol. It's not like It's not like feeling sick. And obviously, I mean, I'm coming up to the anniversary. The end of this month, it's been 3 years since I've been ill. So there is a sense of this is the new normal. This is the way I'm living my life. And I suppose it did highlight that you cannot do this, Joe. Anything that is at all important. And don't feel pressured to do it. Oh, dear. And Black Wolf says it's easier to build a community that you can interact with. Yeah. And then saying bye to Susan. Yeah. Well, when you're starting, when you're starting and you don't really have a community. I know when I had just, I don't know, 60 or 70 subscribers on YouTube, it's really great that I had subscribers, but there was very little interaction. But I don't know whether it's just you guys particularly are that community that wants to interact. I don't know. I suppose it's just finding your people, isn't it? But yeah, as soon as you do find people that do interact with you, especially if they do more than say, this is great. I mean, it's nice to be told this is great, but if they give you a little bit more and you feel like you can get to know them, that's really great. So, anyway, we're just past the hour, guys. Are there any final questions? I feel like I'm melting a little bit today. So, Black, yeah, Black Wolf. I called you Black then, sorry. Black Wolf. Yep, YouTube is hard for that. It's very rare I interact on YouTube. I've started interacting a little bit more. There are some creators where there isn't really a dial. There isn't really an invitation to react and to say much. But I have noticed I've been making a little bit more of an effort on Instagram, particularly adding if I found the way that they've expressed themselves has been really useful to me, I want to do more than say great. Sometimes I do just say great, but I do sometimes want to say yes and try and add some extra value too. So it's been interesting. I've been watching some of my comments on Instagram, and my comments are getting more likes. So in terms of finding my own voice of what I want to create and to talk about, that's been secretly helpful as well, because you're kind of I feel like I'm trying to add some value to their post, but I'm also in a way using their audience as in, do they agree with me as well? But it's kind of happened by accident. Some of the things that they've said have been so useful and so interesting that I thought, oh, I really have to tell you it's useful and interesting and how it related to my life. Mamie says, great to see you and everyone else. Bedtime for me, it's late. Yes, Mamie, I shall be going very, very soon on 1 hour 3. Black Wolf says, there are things called channel points that viewers accrue. They watch and then you can assign how they spend them for fun. Oh no, you're making me tired. You're making me tired thinking about this. I think I know that I have a lot going on this week. I think Twitch is going to be on the list, and I think it's going to have to be first thing in the morning when I'm at my sharper. And maybe what it might be useful for me to do is announce it in my community board here on YouTube that I'm experimenting being over there, because I think it'd be useful to have a few of you over there sometime. But all good fun. Anyway, a few of you have gone. I'm melting a little bit, so I'm going to go to Nanites too. Thank you so much for interacting and for sharing your questions. And I shall probably be doing a live next week as well. So you take care. There'll be another interview coming this week too. It's very exciting. Okie dokie. Thank you. Night, guys. Night, Carol. Night, Evie. Bye-bye.